It started as a joke. That's what I keep telling myself. It was just a joke. My friend Lisa and I were having brunch, bottomless mimosas, overpriced avocado toast, the works, and she was complaining about her husband forgetting their anniversary again. Classic married people problems. We were laughing about it, commiserating, doing that thing women do where we affectionately trash our partners over Eggs Benedict. The restaurant was one of those trendy places with exposed brick and Edison bulbs, filled with other women having their own boozy Saturday morning therapy sessions. Our table was in the corner, somewhat private, which is probably why I felt comfortable saying what I said. Men are useless, Lisa said, refilling her mimosa for the third time. I swear, if mine didn't have a good job and health insurance, I'd trade him in for a newer model. One that actually remembers important dates. I laughed, sipping my own drink. At least Tom tries sometimes. James wouldn't remember our anniversary if I didn't remind him a week in advance and put it in his phone calendar with multiple alerts. See? Useless. All of them. At least you have options, I joked. I'm stuck with mine. No backup plan at all. She laughed, stabbing at her avocado toast. Please, you're telling me you don't have a plan B? Come on. Every smart woman has a contingency plan. I've got 3 guys from high school who still like my Instagram posts. That's your backup plan? Instagram likes? Hey, it's something. What about you? Really? Nothing? And that's when I said it. That's when I made the joke that would ruin everything. Before we get into it, don't forget to like and subscribe. And hit hype to boost this episode. Drop a comment below with your city or country. I'm always curious where viewers are joining from. I leaned in, grinning conspiratorially. Well, I said, lowering my voice like I was sharing a delicious secret. I mean, there is this guy I talk to online, Ethan. We've been chatting for like 8 months now. He's sweet, funny. Actually, listens when I talk, unlike some people. Remembers details about my life. Asks follow-up questions. You know, basic human interaction that my husband can't seem to manage. Lisa's eyes went wide. Her mimosa paused halfway to her mouth. Wait, you have an online boyfriend? Since when? God, no. I mean, not a boyfriend, just a friend. We met in a book club forum, started chatting about literature. It snowballed. It's totally innocent. We've never even talked on the phone. I was lying. We had talked on the phone. Once. But Lisa didn't need to know that. But like, I continued, the mimosas making me bolder than I should have been. If I needed a backup plan, if things went completely south with James, yeah, Ethan would probably be it. He's single now, going through a divorce. He's stable, has a good job, owns his house. And most importantly, he actually gives a shit about my day. Lisa set down her glass. Amanda, are you serious right now? You have a whole backup husband. It's not like that. I'm not actually planning anything. It's just nice to know someone out there finds me interesting, you know? James treats me like I'm furniture. Ethan treats me like I'm a person. Does James know about him? Why would he need to? It's just talking. It's not like I'm cheating. Emotional cheating is still cheating, she said, but she was smiling. Intrigued. Okay, but seriously, tell me more about this, Ethan. And I did. I told her about how we met, how the conversations progressed, how he made me feel seen in a way I hadn't felt in years, how talking to him was the highlight of my day most days, how I'd started dressing nicer just to feel good while texting him, even though he couldn't see me. We laughed about it. She made some joke about having a backup plan being smart in this economy, that we should all have emergency husband funds, the way we have emergency savings accounts. We clinked our glasses together, giggled like teenagers, moved on to other topics. It was nothing, just silly brunch talk between friends fueled by too much champagne and not enough food, except Lisa's husband was friends with James. And Lisa, after a few too many mimosas, apparently thought this was a funny story to share. That's how my husband found out I'd been talking to another man for 8 months, and called him my backup plan. But I'm getting ahead of myself. You need to understand, I didn't do anything wrong. Ethan and I were just friends. We talked about books, movies, life. It was completely platonic, innocent. I never cheated, never even considered it. I liked having someone who was interested in my thoughts. Someone who asked questions and remembered my answers. Someone who made me feel like I was more than just James's wife and the kid's mum. Is that so terrible? Let me back up. Let me explain how Ethan and I even started talking, so you understand this wasn't some sordid affair. 8 months ago, I joined an online book club. Nothing sketchy. It was through a reputable site, moderated, full of normal people who just wanted to discuss literature. I'd been feeling disconnected, like I needed something that was mine. Not wife stuff, not mom stuff, not work stuff, just something for me. The book that month was The Goldfinch. I posted a comment about the themes of loss and identity, and Ethan replied with this incredibly thoughtful response about how trauma shapes narrative. We started a side thread. Then he messaged me privately to continue the discussion. It was purely intellectual at first. Book recommendations, writing styles, authors we loved and hated. Then it got more personal. He mentioned he was going through a divorce, amicable but sad. They'd grown apart. I mentioned I was married with 2 kids, sometimes felt lost in the roles. He understood, he listened. We started talking daily. Just messages through the site at first. Then we exchanged personal emails. Then phone numbers, but just for texting. Never calls. That felt too intimate. We'd text throughout the day. Good morning messages, random thoughts, funny observations. He'd ask how my day was going and actually care about the answer. When I said I had a rough meeting at work, he'd follow up hours later. Did that situation with your boss get resolved? When was the last time James asked me about anything and remembered to follow up? Ethan was easy to talk to, non-judgmental, interested. He made me feel seen in a way I hadn't felt in years. But we never crossed lines, never sexted, never talked about leaving our spouses, never made plans to meet. It was just friendship, connection, 2 people who enjoyed talking to each other. That's IT. So, yes, when Lisa asked about a backup plan, I mentioned him, because in some abstract, hypothetical, never going to actually happen way, if my marriage imploded, Ethan was someone I could maybe turn to, eventually. It was a joke, a thought experiment, not a plan. But apparently, jokes about backup plans don't go over well when your husband finds out about them. James came home from work 3 days after that brunch. I was making dinner, pasta, nothing fancy. The kids were upstairs doing homework. Normal Tuesday evening. He walked into the kitchen and said very calmly, "We need to talk." I looked up from the pot I was stirring. Something in his voice made my stomach drop. "Okay? Who's Ethan?" My blood went cold. "What?" "Ethan. Your backup plan. Who is he?" Fuck. Lisa told someone who told James. Or Lisa's husband told James. Or, doesn't matter. He knew. "He's just a friend," I said quickly. "Someone I talked to online about books. It's completely innocent." James set down his briefcase, loosened his tie, sat down at the kitchen table like he was settling in for a long conversation. "How long have you been talking to him?" "I don't know. 8 months? Maybe 9. 8 months, he repeated. 8 months you've been talking to another man every day and you never mentioned him. It never came up. It's not like I was hiding it. You called him your backup plan. That was a joke. James, come on. It was just stupid brunch talk with Lisa. I wasn't being serious." "Were you joking about talking to him every day for 8 months? "No, but..." "Were you joking about him being someone you'd turn to if our marriage ended?" "It was hypothetical. I wasn't actually planning." "Does he know you're married?" I hesitated, just for a second, but it was enough. "Oh my God," James said quietly. "He doesn't know. He knows I'm married. I told him early on. Does he know you have kids? Another hesitation. James laughed. Actually laughed, but it wasn't a happy sound. You've been talking to this guy for 8 months, every day, and he doesn't even know you have children. What else doesn't he know? Do you tell him about me? About our fights? About how unsatisfied you are? It's not like that. Then what is it like? Explain it to me, because from where I'm sitting, my wife has been having an emotional affair for the better part of a year and calling the guy her backup plan. It's not an affair. We've never even met. We've never done anything physical. We just talk. Oh, well, if you just talk, that makes it totally fine, he said sarcastically. I'm sure you'd be perfectly fine if I was texting another woman every day for 8 months and calling her my backup plan. That's different. How? Because you don't need someone to talk to. You have poker nights and work friends and you have me, he interrupted. Or you're supposed to. When did I stop being the person you talk to? I didn't have an answer for that. Here's the thing I couldn't explain to James, because it would have made everything worse. Ethan made me feel like the person I was before marriage, before kids, before I became someone whose entire identity revolved around being useful to other people. When I talked to Ethan, I wasn't James's wife making sure he had clean shirts for work and his favorite beer in the fridge. I wasn't the kids' mom managing their schedules and emotional crises. I wasn't the employee meeting deadlines and managing office politics. I was just me. The me who had opinions about books and politics and art. The me who was interesting and funny and smart. The me who existed outside of roles and responsibilities. James stopped seeing that person years ago. Maybe I stopped being that person around him. I don't know which came first, but with Ethan, I got to be her again. Even if just through text messages, even if just for a few minutes a day. Is that so wrong? I tried to explain this to James badly through tears while the pasta boiled over on the stove and everything felt like it was falling apart. I just needed someone who saw me, I said, not wife me or mum me or employee me, just me. So get a therapist, James said flatly. Don't get a boyfriend. He's not my boyfriend. What would you call a man you talk to every day, who makes you feel seen and understood, who you'd turn to if we broke up? A friend. Bullshit. He stood up. Show me the messages. What? Show me. If it's so innocent, show me what you've been talking about. My stomach twisted. That's private. Show me. I pulled out my phone with shaking hands, opened my messages with Ethan, started scrolling. Good morning texts. Funny memes, deep conversations about books and meaning and life, complaints about my day, him asking how I was feeling, me asking about his divorce proceedings, jokes, encouragement. Thinking of you messages, nothing sexual, nothing inappropriate, just intimate, emotionally intimate in a way that looked, I realized as James read over my shoulder, exactly like what it was. An emotional affair. You tell him things you don't tell me, James said quietly, still reading. You don't ask. I shouldn't have to ask. You're my wife. And I'm a person. I'm allowed to have friends. Friends you tell your other friends are your backup plan. He handed my phone back. Delete him. What? Delete his number, block him, end it. Now. James, that's not fair. Fair? You want to talk about fair? His voice rose. I come home to find out my wife has been building a relationship with another man for 8 months, hiding it from me, calling him her backup plan, and you're worried about what's fair. I didn't hide it. I just didn't mention it because it didn't seem relevant. It didn't seem relevant that you were emotionally invested in another man. I'm not emotionally invested. But even as I said it, I knew it was a lie. I was emotionally invested. I looked forward to Ethan's messages. His opinion mattered to me. I thought about him when we weren't talking. I saved up stories to tell him. That's investment. Delete him, James repeated. Or I will. I didn't delete Ethan. Not right away. I told James I did. I said I blocked him and ended it, and that was that. But I actually just muted the notifications, archived the conversation, made it look like he was gone while keeping the ability to reach him if I needed to. I told myself it was because I didn't want to ghost Ethan without explanation. He deserved to know why I was suddenly disappearing. It was the polite thing to do. Really, I just couldn't let go. I waited a few days, then I sent Ethan a message from my email. Hey, I'm so sorry, but I can't talk anymore. My husband found out about our friendship and he's really uncomfortable with it. I need to respect his boundaries. Thank you for all the conversations and support. Take care. Ethan responded within an hour. Wait, what? What did I do wrong? I thought we were just friends. Did something happen? I shouldn't have responded. I should have left it there. Clean break. But I couldn't help myself. You didn't do anything wrong. It's complicated. My husband thinks we're too close, and honestly, maybe he's right. I've been using our friendship as an escape from problems in my marriage instead of actually fixing them. I'm sorry, you're a great person. This isn't about you. Can we talk? Just once. I feel like I'm being punished for something I don't understand. And here's where I made another mistake. I called him. I waited until James was asleep, snuck out to my car in the garage. Called Ethan. He answered on the first ring. Hey. Hey. Hearing his voice, actually hearing it for the first time, not just reading his words, felt surreal. He sounded exactly like I'd imagined. Warm, kind, real. I'm sorry for the sudden cut-off, I said. I should have explained better. It's okay, I don't understand. Did I cross a line somewhere? No, God, no. You've been nothing but respectful. It's not you, it's... My husband found out about you, and he's really upset. Upset that you have a friend. Upset that I talk to another man every day and apparently tell my friends you're my backup plan. Silence. Then, your backup plan. I know, it sounds terrible. It was a joke that came out wrong. I was having brunch with my friend and we were joking about having contingency plans, and I mentioned you, and it got back to my husband, and now he thinks we're having an affair. Are we? Ethan asked quietly. What? No, of course not, we're just friends. Are we, though? Be honest. If you weren't married, what would this be? I didn't answer. Because from my side, he continued, you're the first person I want to talk to every day. I think about you constantly. I save things to tell you. When good stuff happens, you're who I want to share it with. That's not just friends for me. I thought you knew that. My heart was pounding. Ethan, I'm not trying to make things harder for you. I'm just being honest. I have feelings for you, real ones. I thought maybe you felt the same way. I'm married. I know, and I've respected that. I never pushed, never suggested we meet or be anything other than friends. But don't tell me this is nothing. Don't tell me you don't feel it too. And that's when I heard it, the door from the garage to the house opening behind me. I turned. James was standing there in his pajamas, looking at me sitting in the car on the phone at midnight. I have to go, I whispered to Ethan. Don't, he started, but I hung up. James and I stared at each other across the garage. You couldn't even do the one thing I asked, he said finally. I was ending it properly. You were sneaking out to call him in the middle of the night after lying to me about blocking him. I didn't lie. Yes, you did. His voice echoed in the garage. You looked me in the eye and told me you deleted him, and you didn't. You kept a door open because you don't want to let him go. That's not... Who is he to you? Really? Because he's clearly more than just some guy from a book club. I got out of the car, tried to move past James into the house. He blocked my path. Answer the question. He's a friend. You don't sneak out at midnight to call friends. He's someone who listens to me, who's interested in what I think, who makes me feel like I matter. And I don't? James asked quietly. The question hung there between us. We stood in that garage for what felt like hours but was probably 10 minutes. Finally, James said, Do you want a divorce? What? No. Because it kind of seems like you do. You've got another guy lined up. You're already emotionally checked out of our marriage. You're lying to me. You're sneaking around. If you want out, just say it. I don't want out. I want you to pay attention to me. I want you to ask about my day and actually listen. I want you to be interested in my thoughts and feelings. I want to matter to you the way I apparently matter to him. You do matter to me. Then why do I have to beg for crumbs of your attention? Why does Ethan ask me more questions in one day than you've asked me in a month? Because you never told me you needed more. You never said you were unhappy. I shouldn't have to say it. You should notice. I'm not a mind reader. We were both yelling now. Loud enough that a light came on upstairs. One of the kids awake. We both stopped, stared at each other. I'm done, James said quietly. Done with what? This, fighting for your attention, competing with some guy on the internet who gets the best parts of you while I get whatever's left over at the end of the day. That's not true, isn't it? When's the last time you were excited to see me? When's the last time you saved something to tell me? When's the last time you chose me? I opened my mouth, closed it. That's what I thought, he said, and walked back into the house. Things changed after that night. Subtle at first, then not so subtle. James stopped asking about my day. Not in a passive-aggressive way, he just stopped. Would come home, say hi, deal with kids, eat dinner, go to his office. He stopped sleeping in our bed, said the couch was more comfortable. His back had been bothering him. He stopped texting me during the day. No more running late updates or need anything from the store, check-ins. Just silence. He was cordial, polite, functional, but distant, like I was a roommate he was being civil with, not his wife. I told myself he was being childish, punishing me for something that wasn't even wrong. I had a friend. Since when was that a crime? But deeper down, I knew. I knew I'd hurt him. Knew I'd been having an emotional affair, whether I wanted to call it that or not. Knew I'd chosen Ethan over James in 1,000 small ways. I just didn't know how to fix it. I tried talking to him. James, we need to discuss this. Nothing to discuss. You're barely speaking to me. I'm speaking to you right now. You know what I mean. You're shutting me out. No, he said calmly. I'm protecting myself. There's a difference. Protecting yourself from what? He looked at me for a long moment. From getting hurt worse when you finally choose him. I'm not going to choose him. How many times do I have to say it? You already did. You just haven't left yet. And he walked away. About 2 weeks into James's cold shoulder treatment, I noticed something. He was on his phone more, smiling at it sometimes, typing messages at odd hours. At first, I figured it was work stuff. Then I thought maybe he was texting his brother or friends. Then one evening, I heard him laughing in his office. Actually laughing. That warm, genuine laugh I hadn't heard in months. Maybe longer. I knocked on the office door. Everything okay? He quickly minimized something on his screen. Yeah, fine. What's up? You were laughing. What's funny? Just something I read. What? Nothing important. Do you need something? It felt like a door shutting in my face. The same way I'd probably made him feel when I was constantly checking messages from Ethan. Who are you talking to? I asked. Does it matter? I'm just curious. You're curious, he repeated flatly. Interesting. What's that supposed to mean? Nothing. I have work to finish. Was there something you needed? There wasn't. I left, but I couldn't shake the feeling that something had shifted, that James had moved on, checked out, something. I shouldn't have snooped. I know that. It's a violation of privacy and trust and all the things I'd be furious about if James did it to me. But I did it anyway. He'd left his laptop open in the office. Just for a minute, he went to get coffee from the kitchen, and I saw messages pulled up on his screen from someone named Sophie. At first, I told myself I was just glancing, not reading, just seeing the name. But then I saw the content and I couldn't look away. I can't wait to see you again. Last night was perfect. My heart stopped. Last night? They'd met? I scrolled up slightly, my hand shaking. Never felt this way before. You understand me in a way she never has. Thank you for seeing the real me. She never has. Me. He was talking about me. More scrolling, my breath coming faster. I was thinking about what you said about starting fresh, about not settling for someone who doesn't choose you first. You're right. I deserve that. We both do. You're the best conversation I've had in years. The best connection. I feel like I can tell you anything. Dinner Friday. I'll cook. We can talk more about what this is becoming. My vision blurred. They were having dinners together, planning a future, talking about what this is becoming. I heard his footsteps coming back down the hall, quickly stepped away from the laptop, tried to compose my face, failed completely. James walked back in with his coffee, saw me standing there, my expression obviously distressed, saw his laptop with the messages still pulled up. His face didn't change. He didn't look guilty or caught or panicked. He just closed the laptop calmly and took a sip of his coffee. "Who's Sophie?" I asked, my voice shaking. "A friend." "What kind of friend?" He set down his coffee, looked at me directly. "The kind who actually listens when I talk, the kind who's interested in my life, the kind who makes me feel like I matter, the kind who doesn't have a backup plan that isn't me." He was using my own words, my own exact words from when I'd tried to explain Ethan, throwing them back at me like weapons. Are you having an affair?" "Define affair," he said, his voice eerily calm. "If it's emotional intimacy with someone who's not my spouse, someone I talk to every day, someone I share things with that I don't share with you, someone who makes me feel valued and seen, then I guess we're both having affairs. Have been for months. If it's physical," he continued, "then no. We haven't slept together. Yet. Just lots of messages. Every day. For about 6 weeks now. Progressing nicely. Just like you and Ethan." 6 weeks. 6 weeks of him doing exactly what I'd done with Ethan. Building a connection, investing emotional energy elsewhere. All while I'd been oblivious. "How could you?" I whispered, feeling my legs go weak. I sat down heavily in his desk chair. He actually laughed. A short, bitter sound. "How could I? That's rich. That's really rich coming from you. How could I? How could you?" "That's different." "How? Tell me exactly how it's different. Use your words. Explain the logic." "Because I wasn't trying to hurt you. It just happened. I didn't plan it." "And you think I'm trying to hurt you?" "No. I'm just finally understanding what you've been getting from your friend all this time. And I have to say, Amanda, it's pretty intoxicating, having someone actually interested in me, who asks how my day was, and actually listens to the answer, who remembers details about my life, who asks follow-up questions, who makes me feel like I'm more than just a paycheck and a set of hands to do chores and fix things around the house. Every word was a knife. Every word was my own words, reflected back at me. "What did you tell her about me?" I asked. "The truth. That my wife has been emotionally checked out of our marriage for almost a year. That she found someone else to give her emotional energy to while I got the leftovers. That she's been so focused on her online friend that she didn't even notice her husband disappearing." "I noticed." "Did you? When? When did you notice? Because I've been pulling away for 6 weeks and you didn't say anything. Didn't ask questions. Didn't seem concerned at all. You were too busy texting Ethan." "I haven't talked to Ethan in weeks." He pulled out his phone, opened something, turned it to show me. It was screenshots of messages between me and Ethan. Recent ones. From the secret email I'd thought was hidden. "You've been monitoring me," I gasped. "I installed monitoring software after you lied about blocking him. Wanted to see if my suspicions were correct. They were. You've been in contact with him the whole time. Different email, but same relationship. I couldn't breathe. He'd been watching me, seeing every message, every lie. So what? I said, trying to find ground to stand on. You're getting revenge, making a point, hurting me the way I hurt you? No, I'm moving on. Moving on? From our marriage? You moved on months ago, I'm just catching up. You made it very clear that I'm your backup plan, your safe, boring option while you keep your real emotional connection with someone else. So I found someone who doesn't treat me like a fallback option, someone who chooses me first. So you do love her? He paused. Thought about it. Actually thought about it instead of immediately denying it. I don't know yet, but I know she sees me, really sees me, appreciates me, values my time and attention. That's more than I've gotten from you in years. I started paying attention then, really paying attention. James was happy, genuinely happy in a way he hadn't been in years. He'd smile at his phone, hum while making coffee, had an energy about him that had been missing. And it was all because of her. Sophie, whoever she was. I tried asking about her. He gave minimal details. Someone I met online. We have common interests. It's nice. Are you leaving me for her? I don't know yet. The casual way he said it, like he was trying to decide between restaurants, not discussing the end of our marriage, absolutely gutted me. You don't know? I'm keeping my options open, seeing where things go. You know, like having a backup plan. There it was, my own words, weaponized. That was a joke. Was it? Because it didn't feel like a joke when I found out you'd been talking to Ethan every day for 8 months. I ended things with him. Did you? Or did you just go underground with it? I had, actually. After that phone call in the garage, I'd created a new email address just for Ethan. Messaged him occasionally. Nothing frequent. Just keeping the door cracked. James saw it on my face. That's what I thought, he said. My friend Lisa came over for coffee. I broke down, told her everything. James is talking to another woman, I sobbed. He's having an emotional affair. He says he might leave me for her. Lisa was quiet for a moment. Like you were doing with Ethan? That's different. How? Because I wasn't seriously considering leaving. It was just an escape, a fantasy, not a real plan. And you don't think James might be doing the same thing? He said he was keeping his options open. You called Ethan your backup plan. How is that different? I didn't have an answer. I'm sorry, Lisa said gently, but you started this. You created a template for how to emotionally check out of your marriage while technically still being in it. Now James is following that template. You can't be mad at him for doing exactly what you did. I can be mad that he's leaving me. Did you think he'd just accept it forever? That he'd be fine being your safe, boring option while you got excitement and validation from someone else? It wasn't like that. Yes, it was. And now he found his own Ethan. How does it feel? It felt terrible. Absolutely terrible. I finally cornered James one night. The kids were at my mom's for the weekend. We had the house to ourselves. We need to talk, really talk, he sighed. About what? About us, about Sophie, about where this marriage is going. Okay, talk. Are you in love with her? He thought about it, actually thought about it instead of immediately saying no. I don't know, maybe. She makes me feel things I haven't felt in years. What about me? Do you still love me? Another pause, another knife. I don't know that either. James, you want honesty. Here's honesty. I don't know if I love you anymore. I don't know if what we have is fixable. I don't know if I even want to fix it. How can you say that? We have kids. We have a life. We have a house and kids and routines. That's not the same as having a life, not a real one. So that's it. You're just giving up. You gave up first. You just didn't have the guts to leave. I didn't give up. You had one foot out the door for 8 months. You were auditioning your replacement. And you got mad at me for noticing. I wasn't auditioning anyone. It was just talking. And what I'm doing with Sophie is just talking too. But suddenly, now you understand how that feels. Now that it's happening to you. He was right. God, he was right, and I hated it. I want to meet her, I said. What? Sophie, I want to meet her. See who she is. James actually looked nervous, protective. Why? Because you're considering leaving me for her. Don't I have the right to know who she is? You don't have the right to anything. Rights went out the window when you started your thing with Ethan. Please, I need to understand what she has that I don't. He studied my face for a long moment. Then, fine. She wants to meet you anyway. She knows about me? Of course she knows. Unlike some people, I was honest about being married from day one. That stung. Because Ethan had known I was married too, but I definitely downplayed it. Made it sound like James and I were basically roommates, ships passing in the night. We arranged to meet at a coffee shop, neutral territory, Saturday afternoon. I spent the morning getting ready, did my hair, makeup, wore my best casual but trying outfit. I wanted her to see what James would be losing. I spent the entire morning getting ready, tried on 6 different outfits, settled on dark jeans and a cream sweater that I knew looked good on me. Flattering, but not try hard. Did my makeup carefully, not too much, but enough. Wanted to look effortlessly put together. Natural beauty, the kind of woman worth keeping. I wanted her to see what James would be losing if he chose her. The coffee shop was one of those trendy places in downtown, all reclaimed wood and local art on the walls. I got there 15 minutes early, ordered a latte I was too nervous to drink, sat at a table where I could see the door. They walked in together. That was the first blow. They arrived together, in the same car, which meant they'd been, what, at his place? Her place? Where had they been before this? Sophie was pretty, not gorgeous, not model stunning, but pretty in that approachable girl-next-door way that men seem to love. Brown hair in a casual ponytail, minimal makeup, jeans and a fitted t-shirt, probably 5 years younger than me, maybe more. She had that fresh, unworried look of someone who hasn't spent 15 years being disappointed. James's hand was on her lower back as they walked in. A casual, comfortable gesture. The kind of touch you don't even think about. The kind of touch he hadn't given me in months. Years, maybe. She saw me first, said something to James. He nodded. They approached the table together. She extended her hand, smiled, genuinely smiled, warm and open. Hi, I'm Sophie. You must be Amanda. Up close, she was even prettier. Clear skin, bright eyes. The kind of person who probably wakes up looking refreshed instead of needing 20 minutes and 3 cups of coffee to look human. I shook her hand robotically. Her grip was firm, confident. That's me. We all sat. James ordered coffee for all of us without asking what we wanted. He ordered my usual, latte with oat milk, 1 sugar, which somehow made everything worse. He still knew. He still remembered. But he was here with her. The barista brought our drinks. The silence was excruciating. I could hear every sound in the coffee shop, the espresso machine, other conversations, the door chime, my own heartbeat pounding in my ears. Finally, Sophie spoke, looked right at me with those clear, honest eyes. This is weird, right? This is super weird. I feel like I should apologize for existing, but I'm also not sorry because James is... She glanced at him, smiled softly. Really special. Despite everything, I almost laughed. The absurdity of it all. The 3 of us sitting here like this was something out of a bad TV drama. Yeah, super weird. For what it's worth, she continued, wrapping her hands around her coffee cup, I didn't know James was married when we first started talking. We met on a hobby forum, photography, actually. We both posted pictures from the same local trail and got to chatting about good shooting locations. It was completely innocent at first. At first, I repeated. Yes, at first. He told me after a few days of messaging that he was married. I almost stopped talking to him then, was going to just ghost, you know. But she glanced at James again, and there was something in that glance. Warmth, affection, real connection. He was honest about the situation, said you two were having serious problems, that you'd been emotionally invested in someone else for months, that he'd been feeling invisible in his own marriage. She paused. He told me about Ethan, about the backup plan comment, about finding out his wife had been building a whole separate emotional life with someone else. And I appreciated the honesty, the transparency. He wasn't trying to hide anything or pretend his situation was simpler than it was. So, you're the other woman, I said flatly. I guess, she said, not defensively, just matter-of-factly. Though from what James tells me, you had your own other man first, so really, I'm not sure who the other person is here. Seems like both of you found connections outside the marriage. That was different. Amanda, James interrupted gently, it wasn't different. It was exactly the same. You found someone who made you feel seen and valued. So did I. The only difference is, you're upset because now you're the one being left behind instead of doing the leaving. I looked at him, really looked at him. He seemed lighter, less tired. The permanent furrow in his brow that I'd stopped noticing was gone. He looked like someone who'd put down something heavy. How long have you been seeing each other? I asked. Like, actually seeing each other, in person.